Bermuda Broadcasting streams the news live on Facebook. Go to Facebook and look up ZBM News 9 and press the like button. You'll get notifications just before the news starts each night. And all of our newscasts are stored there so you can watch them 24/7 at your convenience. Bermuda Broadcasting wants to make it easy for you to stay up to date with your local news. So please sign up to watch us on Facebook Live 24/7 for up-to-date news from Bermuda Broadcasting.
You can count on us.
Save $6 on fresh USDA whole or half boneless ribeye. $13.99 per pound. $4.99 for a 5-pound bag of Canadian red or russet potatoes. Only $1.59 for a 16-ounce box of Ronzoni elbow macaroni. Start your day off with ShopRite Quick Oats. $3.19 for an 18-ounce tub. Arm & Hammer laundry detergent. $9.99 for selected varieties of 61.2-ounce bottles. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
You can count on us.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
And good evening, everyone. It's Friday, November the 17th. I'm Tarai Trott in for Jasmine Patterson. Thanks for joining us tonight. Well, word this evening that a U.S.-based company has expressed an interest in the purchasing of Belco, the island's sole power generating company. It is understood the company has partnered with local businessmen to effect the purchase. Gary Moreno broke the story earlier today and tells us more in this report.
The company said to be making the offer reportedly owns, operates, and optimizes moderate-sized regulated utilities in a manner that produces the lowest practical cost and highest level of customer service. The focus on moderate-sized utilities, we're told, is because they are more capable of being nimble, are closer to their customers, and benefit from access to low-cost capital and economies of scale. This, we understand, makes Belco an ideal target, not to mention its low share price, which at last check was $9.50, and the fact that the company has no debt. According to someone quite familiar with the situation, the company's been involved in meetings with the executive of the Electricity Supply Trade Union, or ESTU, which represents Belco workers, reportedly to discuss the proposed deal. Any such purchase, though, would have to be approved by the island's regulatory authority. However, we asked Walter Raban, the minister responsible for regulatory affairs, about claims of this Belco buyout.
Remember, Belco is held by the Ascendant Group. It is a publicly traded company, and it's a private entity. And ultimately what happens with that private entity is a matter for the shareholders and those who own the company. Upon those decisions being made, it would be after that the regulator and the government would get involved with some of the processes that would have to be involved. But at this point, we have no position on that. We are an open, democratic, somewhat free market society, and it will be the decision of the owners of Belco to do as they wish.
Meanwhile, a source at Belco informed us that the emergency meeting of the ESTU, which the company announced yesterday, was in fact meant for the union executive under its new president, Donald Lottimore, to provide an update to Belco workers on discussions with the company in question and their local representatives. Attempts to reach Mr. Lottimore for comment following today's meeting have so far been unsuccessful, and emails and phone calls to the overseas companies said to be involved have so far gone unanswered. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Jamal Simmons, the Minister for Tourism and Economic Development, tonight brushing off claims by figures in the Royal Gazette that it would be a disaster if the Casino Gaming Commission is brought under government control. The paper has published quotes from overseas and local sources claiming political interference if government goes through with its bill to give it control over the commission, which has engaged in a war of words with the new government. Mike Sharp spoke to the minister outside of the House of Assembly today.
Well, I think that if you rely on the Royal Gazette as a source of information, you'll frequently be led astray. I don't speak to them and I don't read their paper. But I will say this. The legislation that we are looking at is legislation that's based on the Singapore model, one of the most corrupt-free models in the world. But I think that the premise that individuals appointed by a politician from another party are somehow independent and more objective than politicians appointed by this party speaks to the sort of nature of what we're dealing with. I think that what we want to talk to is not about me and Alan Dunch. I want to thank him for his time and service on the Gaming Commission. I think it is about Bermuda having a model where when we have situations such as arose with the NAMLAC committee, when there are requests being made relating to our jurisdictional reputation that are not being followed, the minister should have the power to give policy direction. And to be clear, This legislation that we are proposing would not permit a minister to interfere with corruption investigations or any of the activities of the commission relating to granting licenses and things of that nature. It's an interesting tale that's been spun, but it's the same tale that was told from 98 to 2014, that the PLP is inherently corrupt, that they cannot be trusted, that our appointees are friends and family. That is the narrative, and that's all you will get from the opposition and their reporting arms.
The minister emphasizing that this is not a game, and at the end of the day, there must be performance and accountability at the highest level for such a contentious industry. Well, government tonight moving forward with a plan to have local insurance companies invest in an infrastructure fund that would pay for things like construction projects, sewage and energy systems. David Burt, the premier, told parliamentarians today the idea had come about under the former OBA government but was ultimately rejected.
This government has moved forward with an agreement which was made in partnership with international companies, which are stating that they will have the desire to invest their funds in an infrastructure fund here in Bermuda. What happens is we have these very large insurance companies that have a lot of reserves, but those reserves are typically invested outside of Bermuda and not inside of Bermuda. After the Sage Commission report, there were certain members on the Sage Commission who felt that that dealt only with cuts, and we should look at how we can stimulate economic growth. They went back, came with an idea for an infrastructure fund, and those persons solicited those ideas with the people inside of international business. They came to the former government with a proposal. The former government was uncomfortable with the proposal due to the amount of the management fee that would have been paid. We therefore got this upon coming into office. They said that they were still interested in progressing that. We negotiated with the fund manager to an agreement which was acceptable to the government of Bermuda, and now we have the cabinet has approved the government in partnership with the international community moving forward with this infrastructure fund.
In other news, that 48-year-old Warwick man who crashed into a parked truck on Ord Road in Warwick yesterday while riding a motorcycle remains in the hospital. At last check, he was in the intensive care unit listed in stable condition. As police continue to probe the circumstances of the incident, witnesses are still urged to come forward by dialing the roads policing unit on 247-1788. Well, stay tuned. More news after this break.
You can count on us.
Save $1.10 on Purdue Fresh Value Pack chicken leg quarters, $1.79 per pound. Save $2 on fresh sweet blueberries, $3.99 for a 6-ounce tub. For your holiday baking, $3.29 for a 1-pound tin of Crisco shortening. Frozen DiGiorno Rising Crust Pizza, $9.50 for a 27.5-ounce box. Save $1.66 on selected varieties of Minute Maid juices, $6.19 for a 10-pack. Visit our website at www.marketplace.pm for more super specials.
You can count on us.
Previously at Mailboxes U.S. Express.
Mailboxes Unlimited gives you an address in New Jersey for just $20 a year, and we'll ship your stuff from there to here and save you over 80% on the shipping. Join the over 11,000 people that are already members of Mailboxes U.S. Express. We are the cheapest and the fastest way to ship stuff from there to here. Excuse me while I answer my phone.
My name is Steve Thompson, and I approve of this message.
Mailboxes U.S. Express. Sign up today.
Hi, I'm Charles Webb, inviting you to join me on Monday nights at 8 for Season 2 of Inside Bermuda Homes, a program showing how Bermuda lives. That's Monday nights at 8 o'clock on ZBM TV 9 for Inside Bermuda Homes.
This just coming to hand from Ascendant, the parent company of Belco, following that story from Gary Moreno. Ascendant and Belco, they say, are aware of the rumors currently circulating regarding its potential sale to a U.S.-based entity. To be clear, the company is not for sale, nor do we have any interest in selling the company. Belco is a strategic asset for Bermuda. We have a clear strategy and a clear vision of where we want to go and a dedicated group of people, and there is no need for the company to be taken over. The company goes on to say, we are aware, however, that a U.S.-based company has been meeting with various entities, the government regulatory authority, and other individuals, including the executive of the Electricity Supply Trade Union. However, again, to date, no formal offers have been received by the executive or board of directors at this time. Once again, that statement just coming in from Ascendant, the parent company of Belco. Well, a government bill that would change the Bermuda Day holiday from May 24th to the last Friday in May, dominating discussions in the House of Assembly today. Government MPs say the change would be especially helpful to children who are often tired and miss school when the holiday is observed between Monday and Thursday. However, the notion of change receiving the scorn of the opposition OBA, opposition MP Susan Jackson expressed her concern that such a change could lead to people deciding to travel overseas, becoming involved in road accidents, and using the occasion to party. Such comments taken to task when Minister for Social Development and Sport, Zane De Silva, rose to his feet.
And Mr. Speaker, when I hear words like we're catering to lowering our standards, what kind of comment is that, Mr. Speaker? We're lowering our standards. Mr. Speaker, we heard the Honourable Member Dunkley say that a significant amount of people work on Saturdays. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you what the real numbers are when most of the people work in this country, and it's not on Saturdays. The statistic that was given by MP Weeks 3 years ago, Mr. Speaker, was a fact that 15% of our children were absent the next day for school. What we're doing is, this is for our children. This ain't about lowering a bar or lowering standards. This is for our children, our seniors too. What about the America's Cup party? They partied for about 6 weeks, didn't they? Goslings must have made the most money he's ever made in his life. You talk about partying, and then the Honourable Member Jackson had the nerve to talk about safety and boats. Well, what about all those millionaires about their drinking for 6 weeks on the water? I didn't hear the minister, the Honourable Member, get up and talk about safety on the water then.
Meanwhile, Michael Dunkley, the MP for Smiths North, said he and his fellow OBA MPs could not back the bill.
I believe May 24th means something to Bermudians. It's the start of our traditional summer. We have a great Bermuda Day with the parade and everything, and I have yet to hear any substantive arguments for changing the day to make a long weekend. The government has said that there's absenteeism problems with work the next day and with school, but that's a matter that we have to deal with in another way. If our young people and our children and adults are tired from the holiday because of the parade, then I think we need to make sure that the parade flows smoother and it doesn't take as long to get through the streets of Hamilton. I certainly don't support changing a holiday because we can't make work the next day. And furthermore, when you look at it, the tradition of the holiday is important, and the day means something to most Bermudians. But also, if you move it to a Friday, there's a significant number of people who work Saturdays.
One of the topics that will soon be debated in the House of Assembly is the PwC report entitled Economic, Environmental, and Social Impact of the 35th America's Cup on Bermuda. The report states that a whopping $336 million was raised for the island. OBA Senator Nick Kemp addressing government silence in the upper house this week.
Both myself and Nandy Outerbridge spoke on the America's Cup report. The debate was kind of wound down then before Andrew was also able to speak to it. But, you know, we've had this this major event, the largest in Bermuda's history, especially from a sporting standpoint. And after kind of a lot of innuendo and uncertainty about if it was going to provide the benefits that the OBA hoped it would when we bid for it, we finally got the report back. The numbers were incredible, quite frankly, and it's somewhat disappointing that the government hasn't kind of used this as an opportunity to bang the drum for Bermuda's reputation for things that we've done successfully as a community. You know, we're under a lot of scrutiny for a number of things for reputation. We've got anti-money laundering coming up. There's obviously other things in the news that we have to defend, and this kind of stuff from a reputational standpoint. This is something we don't need to defend. This is something we should be promoting.
From a premier of a British Caribbean colony to a jet-setting multi-millionaire who spent well beyond his means. New details tonight in the long-running corruption trial of Michael Mizik of the Turks and Caicos Islands. As you're about to hear, prosecutors recently unleashed their star witness against him, his ex-Hollywood wife. Testifying from Los Angeles under a court summons via a video link to the courtroom in the Turks and Caicos Islands, American actress Lisa Ray McCoy, the former wife of Chief Defendant Michael Mizik, gave damning details of a luxurious and lavish lifestyle she and the former premier once enjoyed. The couple married in 2006 in a lavish ceremony and were divorced by 2008. According to the Turks and Caicos Weekly News, which has been covering the trial, Ms. McCoy told the courtroom in the early days when she was first introduced to Mizik, he allegedly told her he was worth between $100 to $180 million. Prosecutors say Mizik's net worth was around $50,000 annually in the early 2000s, and by the time he fled the country in 2009, he had built up a fortune of $180 million. Ms. McCoy testified to a courtship that saw trips around the world and her frequent visits to the Turks and Caicos Islands. Mizik even arranged for her to be paid $300,000 of taxpayers' money to star in a photo shoot supposedly promoting tourism to the islands. During her love affair, she recalled receiving various credit cards from Mizik, including the prestigious Black American Express card. As to who paid her exorbitant bills, she recalled handing them to Mizik, who somehow took care of them. Much of her testimony surrounded the use of private jets, referred to during the trial as the couple's Hollywood lifestyle. Ms. McCoy revealed while married, she and Mizik took at least 3 round-trip journeys every month through a leased private jet, around $300,000 a month, coming to a total cost of around $6 million over a 2-year period. Prosecutors contend Mizik at the time could not possibly have the personal funds to afford such luxuries on his government salary. Mizik had such a taste for private jet travel that he convinced his cabinet in 2007 to use government funds to outright purchase a private jet along with 2 pilots. The destinations Mizik is said to have visited for personal vacations included Bali, Indonesia, Europe, and South Africa, among others. The court previously heard Mizik received loans worth millions of dollars from wealthy business executives and developers with no agreement for Mizik to pay the money back. Eventually, by 2008, news of Mizik's extravagant lifestyle reached the British government, which sent a team of investigators who set up a commission of inquiry. In 2009, that inquiry, led by retired British Judge Sir Robin Auld, found clear signs of systemic corruption in the Turks and Caicos government, along with evidence of serious dishonesty among cabinet ministers. In response, the British government suspended parts of the local constitution and imposed direct rule upon the territory through the governor. In response, the former premier fled to Brazil, where he became a fugitive until the British had him arrested, detained, and later extradited, where he is currently on trial along with other former cabinet ministers. Prosecutors who allege that Mizik sold Crown land and pocketed the money are due to wrap up their case in the trial soon. Mizik is facing a judge-only trial after it was deemed he was too well known to be tried by a local jury of his peers. Tarai Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This forecast is brought to you by the BF&M Insurance Group. And as we take a look here, you can see a front that has pushed to the south and east of Bermuda. And we have some very gusty winds. In fact, we have a small craft warning that is in effect through your Saturday morning because we have north-northeasterly winds 18 to 22 knots. The water temperature is 75 degrees. Waves inside the reef 2 to 3 feet. Outside 6 to 9 feet. Humidity is at 70%. Now for tonight, patchy clouds, breezy with an overnight low of 64 degrees. Tomorrow we have a mostly sunny sky. Winds will start to diminish as we go into tomorrow as well. So lighter winds, we have some sunshine, a high temperature of 72 degrees. Our low temperature drops to 65. Our high tide number 1 comes at 7:55 p.m. here this evening, and then our first low tide is at 1:40 in the wee hours of Saturday morning. Our second high tide comes at 8:14 on Saturday morning, and the second low tide at 2:30 for Saturday afternoon. So looking at your gateway forecast here in Toronto, 47 degrees with some rain in the forecast. New York City's going to see some rain coming in by the late part of the day, partly sunny in Atlanta. Jamaica, shower or thunderstorm around with a high temperature of 88 degrees. No tropical development that we're watching at this point in time. time. So for your Saturday, we have some sunshine in the forecast. Like I said, those winds will start to diminish. And as we head into Sunday, warmer, there'll be a few afternoon clouds around with a temperature of 76 degrees. By the time we get to Monday, there's a front coming through, so we'll see showers, maybe a thunderstorm, more clouds in the forecast as well. Gusty winds will start to kick up in the afternoon. In fact, we could be looking at some gale force winds, and we may see that's an early high temperature of 75 degrees. We could see as much as a 10-degree drop once that front moves through by the afternoon. For Tuesday then, 72 degrees with a mostly sunny sky. Wednesday, some moisture returns with some showers in the forecast. To keep up to date on all the weather has to offer, tune into Ocean 89, Power 95, and Inspire 105.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
Visit Bermuda's #1 furniture store today. Big savings zone, Southside St. David's.
Christmas in Bermuda is a special time for most of us. Unfortunately, for some families in Bermuda, there is no warm Christmas. This year, many families will be in need. It's the 29th anniversary of the Lions Clubs of Bermuda and the Marketplace helping share the Christmas spirit, so let's help take care of each other. Shop at any Marketplace, shopping center, Modern Mart, or A1 stores and purchase extra tins and non-perishable items. Once you have purchased these items, place your food donations into Santa's bin located at the front of the store. The Lions Clubs will collect your food contributions and assemble them into hampers to be delivered to the families in need around the island. Christmas comes once a year. Help make it a special time for every family in Bermuda. Sponsored in part by the Bermuda Broadcasting Company and the Royal Gazette.
Let's join Earl Bazin with the latest from the sports desk.
ZBM Sports can now confirm that only 2 candidates have been nominated for the position of president for the Bermuda Cricket Board. Persons can only be nominated for the position by a club, not themselves. The 2 people confirmed are Lloyd Smith and Gershon Gibbons. The Bermuda Cricket Board will hold their annual general meeting later this month. Former national head coach Andrew Bascom has a youth program running at the Victor Scott School. We caught up with Bascom to ask if the program that he's running at the Victor Scott can be used island-wide.
Yeah, well, that's my vision for the future, because we now have, I think, it's close to 20 B licensed coaches, and to acquire a B license, you have to be very knowledgeable. You have to be organized because you're being critiqued by professionals. And if we can get that level of coaching into our primary schools and maybe get the corporate world to adopt the primary school, and then this can happen everywhere, and then it can go into the middle schools, and then hopefully we can capture the kids, at least provide a good foundation, and then when they move on in life, and then they have the necessary skills and values and commitment, all the things that it takes to be a good sportsman, character building, and it can be done. It can be done.
The Bacardi Bermuda Keelboat Regatta is underway in the Great Sound. Canadian Dirk Nolman leads the Etos fleet after 3 races. He and his crew have 4 net points, with another Canadian sailor, Tom Clark, in second with 7 net points. Bermuda's Tim Patton is in third with 8 net points. Bermuda's Patrick Cooper is the current leader in the IOD fleet with 5 net points after picking up 2 wins on the opening day. His fellow Bermudian sailor, Craig Davis, in second with 6 net points. Blythe Walker made it a 1-2-3 for Bermuda after the first day, as he ended with 7 net points. After the first day of racing, the J105 fleet is led by Olympian Peter Brumby. He has 3 points sailing Air Force. James McDonald sailing Passion and Keith Japipa sailing Checkmate are tied for second with 8 net points each. The Bermuda Football Association will join the region in celebrating CONCACAF's 3rd annual Women's Football Day on Saturday, tomorrow, November 18th, at the Botanical Gardens Showring from 10 a.m. through to 12 noon. CONCACAF's focus for this year's Women's Football Day is on the younger generation. The aim is to build a sustainable growth in women's football, not just in Bermuda, but throughout all of the CONCACAF members associations. All 41 associations across the CONCACAF region will be celebrating Women's Football Day this Saturday in continued support for the development of women's football. The Bermuda Football Association is pleased to join this day of celebration and hope for a better future for girls and women's football. Work Academy students won 2 medals on the opening day of the 27th Annual Speedo Winter Championships hosted by the Plantation Swim Team in Florida. During the 15-16 women's 1,650-yard freestyle, Skylar Paul finished 3rd, capturing the bronze medal, touching the wall in a time of 18:15.91. The second medal of the day came when Sam Williamson won the silver medal, finishing 2nd, competing in the 13-14 men's 50-yard breaststroke. He clocked a time of 27:92. While Keegan Woolley finished 5th in the same race, clocking 28:43. The Barclay Institute finished the Bermuda School Sports Federation Senior School Netball Tournament undefeated at Bernard Park to claim the title yesterday. Barclay and Cedar Bridge Academy Blue were both undefeated as they squared off in the final match of the competition. Barclay took an early lead and led the match from start to finish, winning 12-5. Salters Grammar School finished the tournament in 3rd place with 9 points. Bermuda Olympian Jillian Teixeira, Patrick Nisbet, and Tyler Lopes are all taking part in the CSI 2, CSI 1, CSI YH1, the Pelbergen Winter International Horse Jumping event in the Netherlands. On day 1, only Teixeira took to the ring, competing in the 1.40-meter CSI 2 A Group 1 class. Teixeira, riding Tamarino, finished 27th. They clocked a clear round time of 68:24. The Bermuda School Archery League, run by David Seamus, is underway. Eloise Temin recorded the highest score of this week with 254 points. Alana Frith had a score of 253 points, and Logan Vieira scored 215 points. Taking a look at this weekend's football, in the Premier Division on Saturday night at the BAA Field, 2nd place Robin Hood will have a chance to take over the lead in the division if they are able to defeat 5th place North Village Rams with a 9 p.m. kickoff. On Sunday, the league leaders and newly crowned Dudley Eve champions, PHC Zebras, will welcome 4th place Boulevard Blazers to the PHC Stadium. 6th place Dandytown Hornets are at home, St. John's Field to 10th place Young Man Social Club, while 7th place Crossroads travel to BAA Field to face 8th place Flanagan's Onions. 3rd place Devonshire Cougars will be hoping for a better performance at the Somerset Cricket Club, and they face off against 9th place Somerset Trojans. Turning our attention to the 1st Division, tomorrow at 3 p.m. at the White Hill Field, 5th place Somerset Eagles will entertain 8th place Wolves. And then on Sunday, joint league leaders will meet at the BAA Field. BAA will host St. David's. Both teams have identical records of 5 wins and a loss with 15 points. But BAA have a goal difference of +23, while St. David's are +5. 9th place Hamilton Parish will travel to Malabar to face off against 10th place Island Rangers. 7th place St. George's Colts will host 4th place Southampton Rangers at the Wellington Oval. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Join us for the annual Christmas parade Sunday, November 26th at 5 p.m. in Hamilton. Bring the whole family to get into the Christmas spirit. There will be free goodies for the kids and great entertainment for all. Experience new dazzling lights and floats as Santa makes his way along the parade route. Kick off the holiday season Sunday, November 26th at 5 p.m. with the Marketplace 2017 Christmas Parade.
Here's Meg Oliver with the day's top health stories.
Regular coffee drinking may be good for your liver. That's according to a panel of experts in Europe who found coffee consumption reduced the risk of liver diseases like liver cancer and cirrhosis by up to 70%. Only 1 in 10 adults in the U.S. eats the recommended amount of fruits and vegetables each day. Federal guidelines recommend 2 cups of fruit each day and up to 3 cups of vegetables. And if given a choice, most people say they'd rather walk or stand during their workday. Researchers in Germany took a look at workers who spent about 70% of their time at their desks. They found employees would prefer sitting down just half the time. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
And that's our broadcast for this Friday night. I'm Tarai Trott. Thanks for spending your time with us. Have a good weekend. Good night.